Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome to Never on the Back Foot. In today's review live show, we will discuss day one of the India versus England one-off Test match and all the major talking points. Joining us for the discussion is, of course, a very special guest, Julie, a former cricketer from Maharashtra and a freelance journalist. So, without further ado, let's kickstart our discussion. So, Julie, what are your first thoughts on the return of Test match cricket to Indian soil? Now, this is happening after a gap of 9 years, and you have giants in Test cricket, right? India and England squaring off. So, what were your initial impressions?
First of all, it was a very happy news for all the Indian fans and all the fans of women's cricket. I must say that Test cricket returned to India after 9 long years. We all remember the 2014 Test match, which was played in Mysore between India and South Africa. And luckily, or fortunately, I can say that India went on to win that Test match by an innings and 34 runs. But if you recall that squad, only three players from that squad are there in the present Indian team: Smriti Mandhana, Rajeshwari Gaikwad, and of course, Captain Harmanpreet Kaur, who was back then just a player, but today she is captaining the Indian Test team as well. So very fond memories from that Test match as well, and it is really great to have Test cricket back in India. And we often hear players also speaking that despite T20 gives them that adrenaline rush, or even for that matter, one day cricket, but playing the Test cricket is their ultimate dream because, of course, it is the most conventional form of cricket. The classical form of cricket, we can say, is Test cricket, and it is special occasion for the players also to play this test match.
Definitely, and I think in a lot of pre-match conferences and like player interactions, a lot of them spoke about playing for India and Test cricket, donning the whites has been the ultimate dream. And before we actually delve deeper into the Test match, now I think even before the match started, we had the likes of Smriti Mandhana and Harmanpreet Kaur comment on how women's Test actually requires like having a World Test Championship like the men's game. So, what are your thoughts on the same? And do you also believe in the feasibility of a World Test Championship?
Of course, Neha, as you rightly pointed out, Smriti Mandhana, a couple of days before the start of the test match today, in a press conference, she definitely hinted at having World Test Championship because she enjoyed watching the men's World Test Championship, and even she felt that if in women's cricket also WTC is introduced, it will be great. But again, that's a long shot, if we can say. At least the first step should be to get more and more nations to play women's test matches because right now, if you see, we only have the likes of England, Australia, and India, and to some extent South Africa and New Zealand playing test cricket. But apart from that, we do not have too many nations playing women's test matches. So probably first thing for the ICC and for the respective cricket boards could be that introduce more test cricket for women as we have for England and Australia. They play a multi-format Ashes. If something similar can be introduced for other teams also who are playing bilateral series, a multi-format affair, that could work wonders. And who knows, in coming years we could see WTC for women's game as well.
Certainly, that would be very exciting to see. I mean, we see good competition in the women's Ashes, and India's one of tests as well. And the World Test Championship would certainly be a big investment in the women's game. And we see a lot of other teams also, having to go through the whole. I wouldn't say like the whole pressure of playing test matches, which actually brings out the best of players. But now, focusing on today's match, now India won the toss and they chose to bat first. So, what were your initial impressions of the same? Because we knew the conditions are, of course, really good for batting, but then there was this threat of, spinners coming in and doing their work, and seamers also getting so much of movement from the track. So, what did you make of it?
I think it was a good toss for India to win. Captain Harmanpreet Kaur, she called it rightly, won the toss and chose to bat. Though we had some inexperience in the middle order, if we can say, because Shubha Satish was making her debut, Jemima Rodriguez was making her test debut. Might we remember that she has already played T20 and one day, but a test cricket is altogether a different ball game, and she was making her debut. So relatively inexperienced middle order, but still Harmanpreet Kaur had that we can say confidence in the Indian batting lineup. She went ahead, won the toss, chose to bat against a good England bowling attack, and they have some good pace bowlers in Lauren Bell, Lauren Filer, because she bowls at some express pace. If we see Lauren Filer's attack, and also we cannot forget Sophie Eccleston, they have in the mix, and Nat Silverbrandt too. So despite that, Harmanpreet Kaur went ahead, won the toss, chose to bat, and we can say that it was a wonderful day for the Indian team. We completely dominated 410 runs on the board at the loss of just 7 wickets. And just looking at the pitch, I feel that the first day, though initially we see in Test cricket that probably in the morning first hour there could be some movement or some assistance for the fast bowlers, and England bowlers did well during that first hour because if you remember, they got the better of Smriti Mandhana and Shefali Verma, the opening pair of the Indian team. But after that, when Shubha Satish and Jemima Rodriguez they steadied the ship, they stitched a good 115-run partnership for the third wicket. So it was quite instrumental in setting the foundation for that 400 plus score. But apart from that, I feel it was a good toss for India to win, and the Indian batters did stand up to the expectations of Harmanpreet Kaur, the coaching staff, and of course the entire think tank of the Indian team.
Certainly, I mean, it was a good batting show, and we will get to that in a bit. Now, when we look at India's, like playing 11 for this match, you had a formidable playing 11, right? You had debuts given to Renuka Singh Thakur, Jemima Rodriguez, and Shubha Satish. So, what were your thoughts on the same? And did you actually see it coming? Because at least with the likes of, I think, Renuka Singh Thakur and Jemima, we knew that they're important cogs in your limited over setup, so they had to make it in this test setup. But even with Shubha Satish, we've seen her in the domestic circuit and making her debut. Special stuff today.
Yeah, actually, Neha, I think I had quite expected Shubha Satish to make her debut because I have followed her domestic career. She has been an opening batter for Karnataka, one of the most successful domestic teams in Indian women's cricket, if you see, and she has been the opening batter for that team, and she has done consistently well playing for Karnataka. So till 2021, she was with the Karnataka side, and then she moved on to Railways. Despite last year not getting too many chances for Railways, which is already a star-studded lineup, Shubha Satish was always there in the reckoning. And then being a left-handed opening batter with that elegant batting style, she was already, I think, on my mind and probably on many of the minds of the fans as well, that she was going to make her test debut. She came in at one down today. She is usually an opening batter, but she came in one drop. And so, Neha, as I told you that I'm still here at DY Patil Stadium. And when I saw her, when she came into bat, the kind of confidence she had when she came from the pavilion to the pitch, it was unbelievable. So for all the fans and viewers who are watching this show, if you get a chance, just go to that moment when the first wicket falls of Smriti Mandana and when Shubha Satish is just striding to the pitch. She was shadow practicing and she came with a lot of confidence. And I think at that moment, as a fan, I felt that this girl is going to have a day. This girl is going to score big, I thought. And she started off brilliantly. She scored a wonderful half century. I would say probably a century was on the cards. But again, and I think just got out at the wrong time. She tried to pull one of Sophie Eccleston, but found mid wicket and she got out. But overall, I feel Shubha Satish had a brilliant day today.
Definitely, and for us viewers as well, following the scores on the app and watching those reels, delightful strokes, right? I mean, we don't get to see a lot of domestic cricket, so
Yeah.
the little bit we get to see of her in international cricket, she has been phenomenal, as you rightly pointed out. And even looking at India's batting, right, you had the likes of Smriti Mandana, give that dhamakedar start to the proceedings as she struck boundaries at will. And at one point, her strike rate was like at some 170. And you had Shefali Verma also give ample support from the other end. But somewhere they couldn't capitalize, right? So, what did you make of that partnership, which was quite short lived?
Yeah, I think it was a good start which Smriti and Shefali gave to the Indian team. They would definitely would have liked to carry on after seeing the four half centuries which other teammates of theirs scored today, and they would definitely feel that they missed out on scoring big today. But I think a good start for India, and as we know, we don't play so much of Test cricket, so probably a bit of inexperience also from Shefali Verma, a young girl just 19 or 20 years old. So I think that might have played a key role. And I think Smriti Mandhana, who is a bundle of talent, I think even she got out at the wrong time. But the kind of start these two girls gave probably gave a lot of confidence to the rest of the Indian batters to follow, and which we immediately saw when Shubha Satish and Jemima Rodriguez were at the crease, and then followed by Captain Harmanpreet Kaur and of course, Yastika Bhatia. Both of them also had a 100-run partnership. So it was good to see the start, but yes, again, we would have loved to see Shefali and Smriti also contributing and adding up to the four half centuries which we already had in the day.
Definitely, and I think because of the early fall in wicket, you had Shubha Satish walking in what is the sixth over. Yet it didn't give us feeling of a debutant, right? She was striking the ball well. We've been speaking in awe of her, and that's when even Jemima Rodriguez, when she came to the crease, both of them struck such a brilliant partnership. They were really able to not just anchor India's ship, but they were also able to get those quick runs. So, with respect to India's cause, again, a great partnership and good science.
Of course, wonderful 115 runs partnership. And when these two girls were scoring, I was just checking what is the highest third wicket partnership, and it was 136 by Mithali Raj and Anjum Chopra. Again, a left and right hand combination. And today we had left-handed Shubha Satish and right-handed Jemima Rodriguez scoring 115. So they were just 21 runs short of the highest third wicket partnership for India in women's Test cricket. So probably that could have been broken, and that record was in danger today. But overall, of course, speaking about their partnership, Neha, as you rightly said, they were striking the loose balls for force, but they were also running hard between the wickets. If I'm not wrong, they had a couple of 3 runs also being taken, which you also know that it is quite difficult in Mumbai given the hot and humid conditions. So their running between the wickets was terrific. Their stroke making was excellent. And it was also heartening to see Jemima Rodriguez, all of 24 years, 23 years of age, and Shubha Satish, 24. But Jemima was talking to Shubha Satish continuously. And I remember one incident when I think it was Lauren Bell who shot a bouncer at Shubha Satish, and Shubha Satish just mistimed it. Jemima went up to the strikers and had a word with Shubha, calmed her nerves, and after that, Shubha played exceedingly well. So that was also wonderful to see the kind of partnership they had. And also in the post-match press conference, when Shubha Satish herself had come, she was being asked that what did Jemima tell her, though she did not explicitly say, probably it was a secret. But then she said that both of them have played a lot of age group cricket at the domestic level, so that probably helped their partnership. And just a fun fact, I think in one of the practice matches when Shubha Satish was on 99, Jemima Rodriguez was the one to get her out. So probably Jemima Rodriguez also knows what are the strengths and weaknesses of Shubha Satish, and probably she just told her to play her shots. And I think that was the success for their partnership.
Definitely, I think that chemistry was for everyone to see, right? They were really complementing each other well, and even for the fans, I'm pretty sure it was quite a treat to watch. Now, even looking, extending this conversation now, even the partnership, right, between Harman and Yastika was again quite, crucial because losing wickets was not ideal. Yet, Harmanpreet Kaur's surprising run out that seems to be the talk of the town everywhere makes the news, right? So, what did you make of it?
So again, there was a lot of confusion when that review was being taken, because I think in the post-match press conference, as I'm talking to you about it, so Lauren Bell, who had come for the post-match press conference, even she was asked about Harmanpreet Kaur's run out, and even the England team did not feel that Harmanpreet was run out. Danny White, who had thrown the ball at the stumps, it had hit the stumps. Danny White went off to her fielding position at deep point, and all the England players had settled to their positions. But then on the big screen, when it came that Harmanpreet Kaur was run out, it was a moment of surprise for all the England players. Probably a breakthrough that they needed, because that partnership, that 116-run partnership between Harmanpreet and Yastika, it was looking phenomenal. And I don't think there was any other way of getting this partnership being broken apart from that run out. But yes, again, I think. Being a Harmanpreet Kaur fan, I would say probably she was again a bit unlucky. That bat, I don't know, Neha, whether that bat is still there or has it found the dustbin, because in the T20 World Cup, in the semi-final against Australia, something similar happened. And today, again, something similar, just outside of the crease, her bat got jammed and she was run out on 49.
Yeah, because even the reaction that the England players had at that run out was quite fascinating to see. And looking at India's batting again, now you had crucial knocks again coming in from Sneh Rana, who scored a 30, and Deepthi Sharma, right? Now she is still unbeaten and fighting with her knock of 60. Helped India, put up that formidable total on the board. So again, what did you make of their performances, and does it give you confidence that hey, I know my middle order is settled. Now you have your lower middle order as well. That's actually chipping in with the runs. So again, pleasant signs.
Yeah, that's wonderful actually for India, that the lower middle order is also contributing useful runs. And also, I think in the past, if you remember the 2021 Test that India played against England, and after that against Australia, Sneh Rana had a crucial role to play. And if I'm not wrong, she along with Tanya Bhatia saved that test match for us. It was going to end in a losing way for us, but then we managed to draw that match after that brilliant partnership between Tanya Bhatia and Sneh Rana. So I think Sneh Rana is again a quality player, and of course Deepti Sharma. We all know what she can do with the bat. I feel that she has been very much underrated over the past few years. But if we remember, she used to open the batting back then with Poonam Raut, and they also had that 300 plus run stand in an ODI game. So Deepti Sharma has a lot of batting capacity, lot of batting talent, and it was not surprising for her to score that many runs. But with the kind of temperament that these two players showed, I think it was amazing to see because England had taken India 6 wickets and they had all the chance probably to bundle out the team at the end of the day's play. But then these two stood solid, a 92-run partnership between them for the 7th wicket, and I think that helped India to go past that 400-run mark.
Definitely, and I'm glad you bring in this point of Sneh Rana, because she's been such a like good, talented all rounder, but often finds herself warming the benches or not just
Hmm.
as a part of the team. But I think it's performances like this that really remind us that she has so much capability, and of course, any words would fall short to describe Deepti Sharma. Right? She's been such a prolific all rounder, and a lot of times I think her batting just goes under the radar. So it's good to see her. Being unbeaten on 60, and quite optimistic to see her, bat tomorrow as well. And looking at England right now, due credit to their bowling as well, because after a point you could see the ball was getting old, and the Indians were just going all out with their batting. But still, the likes of Lauren Bell, Kate Cross, Nat Silverbrunt, you had Charlie Dean and Sophie Eccleston, amongst the wickets. So, do you see them, acclimatized to the conditions really well? And tomorrow, do you think they would come up with a stiffer challenge?
I definitely feel so because this England team is wonderful. Their bowling attack is probably one of the best in the world. Just not looking at Test cricket, but also at the ODI and the T20 setup. So despite they don't have the senior pro Catherine Silverbrunt, who is of course retired, that's a big dent to their Test team. But despite that, they have good young players in Lauren Bell, Lauren Filer, who, as I said, has express pace, good bouncers also in her repertoire, and of course Sophie Eccleston, who has the most number of Test wickets for England. Though she had an off day today, but tomorrow we know that she can bounce back and she can give Indian batters some trouble. And I feel that as this match progresses, there are likely going to be cracks that develop in the pitch, which will assist the spinners like Charlie Dean and Sophie Eccleston. Of course, the Indian team also has good spinners, but then tomorrow when England comes out to bowl, I think their approach, their mindset will be completely different from what they had today. And also, Neha, I feel that there were a few chances that went begging also. I think Indians were a bit fortunate. Heather Knight, I think she got a tough one when she dropped that off Yastika Bhatia. Then Lauren Bell dropping that sitter again from Yastika Bhatia. So probably if England were able to take those catches and those missed opportunities, probably it could have been a different ball game, and maybe Indian team would have been all out also by the end of the day's play.
Actually, again, a great point to bring in of England having a very off day on the field, right? Like they were just dropping
Hmm.
catches and they didn't seem their best. So perhaps, they were just getting used to the conditions, and tomorrow will be a much better showing for them. Now, with even India ending on a total like 410 for 7, what total do you think ideally India should look to aim? Because I think a total of 500, in excess of 500, will do India a world of good, because it puts a lot of pressure on England coming into bat as well. So, what do you think is the total that India would envision for tomorrow?
That is a very interesting question, actually. I think a lot of discussion will happen in the Indian change room and, of course, back in the hotel. I think what could be the good total. So, if I feel that if India plans to reach 500, which I think is still possible given that Pooja Vastrakar, who is also a handy lower order bat, has joined hands with Deepti Sharma, if they both are able to carry on at least and play the first hour of play, when you again expect movement from the fast bowlers, if they are able to play that first hour, I think 500 is definitely on the cards. And if India is able to reach 500, just I don't think we'll have to bat again. Probably India can think of bowling out England twice. That can also happen, but it again depends on how we play in the first hour of play tomorrow. So I think, of course, the aim will be to reach 500, and I think that is possible with Deepti Sharma and Pooja Vastrakar being around.
Definitely. I mean, India's batting is very deep, and the duo can, really cause a massive dent to England's, fortunes of winning this Test match. And yeah, as we almost, wrap up our discussions, do you have any final thoughts?
I think the Indian team played really well today. It was wonderful to see the likes of Shubha Satish, Jemima Rodriguez stepping up and playing their best cricket in the longest format of the game. And I think congratulations to the Indian team for putting on 410 against a strong England bowling attack. And I think this is the fifth time the Indian team has gone past 400 in women's test cricket. So again, that speaks volumes of what an incredible achievement this has been from the Indian team. And also, when I was just going through the stats, Neha, you will be amazed to know that this is the fastest scoring rate that we have put on in women's test cricket. So overall, across nations, it has been the fastest of I think 4.45, and the previous best was 3.81. So that again goes to show that we played just attacking brand of cricket. We trusted our instincts. We went out there and had a free flow of cricketing shots that came along. But tomorrow, I think once if whenever we are bowled out, it will be very important for our bowlers also to bowl pretty well. They must have seen from the dressing room how the England bowlers have bowled. Probably they would have understood how to bowl on this wicket. And given the fact that Yastika Bhatia, who was there in the middle for a long time when she was batting, when she'll be keeping wickets, I think she'll have a lot of talking to do with the bowlers as well.
Agreed. We have a lot to look forward to tomorrow. Let's see how much India gets, and if England can actually put up a stiff fight. And yeah, that does conclude our discussion. Thank you once again, Julie, for joining us on today's live show. We will have you, of course, for the other 3 days, and looking forward to again some very insightful, insights from your end. And thank you to all the viewers who joined us. We hope to see you across our other days as well. And yeah, that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha.
Cheers.